Hi, I'm Jennifer Sawyer with Team MVP, and welcome to my office. Today I am showing you what I ordered for the 2019 season from MVP Disc Sports, most of which are spares because, as you see, I have a lot. I've been throwing MVP for 6 years now, so I have a good collection. It was very hard to decide what to order because I have what I need, I feel like. So backups were really just a priority. I did get a couple new things that I haven't thrown yet that I am excited to try out. First are a couple Neutron Matrix. I've actually never thrown the Neutron Matrix. I'm really excited for it. The Neutron plastic is really my second favorite plastic type behind plasma. So I'm looking forward to giving this a go. These are both 174s. I do prefer throwing max weight mid-range drivers. So there's that. Next up is the Plasma Theory. My favorite plastic is plasma, and the Theory is a great understable driver. You can really rely on it to finish right. It's really my favorite mid-range driver, which is the Axis, and I got 2 Eclipse, 2 Neutron, and 2 Plasma Axis. I've actually never thrown the Plasma Axis before, so I'm really looking forward to giving these a go. The Axis is really my favorite mid-range driver. I typically throw an Eclipse because it's a little bit more stable, so you can really put some power behind it for a nice straight flight. But the Neutron has a little bit more turn to it, so I like playing with that depending on the shot and what you're trying to carve out in the woods. So I'm really excited to see where the plasma really falls into this line of Axises. And now another Eclipse mold, the MV. The MV is a tried and true. Everything like under 100 is an MV. Should be. If you're not, you're doing it wrong. So here is the Eclipse MV. I've never thrown the Eclipse MV before, and this is the first mold where the Eclipse, the glow plastic, is actually the flight instead of the rim. So I'm very excited to see how this looks like in a glow round. I expect these to be a little bit more stable. Eclipse tends to be a little bit more stable, and these are both a little bit lighter. They're 165, but I think that the Eclipse plastic will make up for that. So I'm excited to really see how those fly. I expect those to be really great off the tee. That's what I'm expecting. A couple new soft Atoms. These are what I currently putt with, so these are just backups. But I did want to give the Pilot a shot. I want to give every putter I think will work with my hand and my preferences a shot this year. I want to give myself the best opportunity. I've never thrown the Pilot, but I'm very anxious to throw these. They feel phenomenal. The Electron plastic is amazing. It's not too high for me. It's not too of a higher profile putter for me. I really prefer the low profile because my hands are small and I have a tendency to have blonde moments and get my fingers like stuck up under the rim when I release. So that's why I prefer a lower profile, but these feel so good, and I've heard nothing but great things about these, and so I'm really looking forward to giving these a shot. I want to give myself the opportunity to be the best putter I can be, and maybe that means getting away from the Atom. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe I will still stick with the Atom. Who knows? But I'm going to give it a shot. So look out for that. And another thing I ordered was soft spins. The Spin is another putter that I tried a couple years of, like when it first came out, and I really liked it. I played a couple casual rounds with it. It has a lot of glide. There's so much glide to this putter. You don't have to try so hard for it to go straight and into the bucket. I never really gave it more of a chance because I just always resorted back to my Atom. But again, I want to give myself the best opportunity to be the best putter I can be, so I am going to give these a shot again. Into some of the drivers I have. I've got a couple Signals. These are a super versatile utility understable fairway driver. It's one of my favorites. Even though these are max weight, I don't typically throw max weight drivers, but even though these are higher than I usually throw, the understability is still there. I can still throw it up high and watch it turn right and just keep that line. So I just wanted to get a couple more spares. I have a couple Signals, but these are amazing for turnover shots. Then we have my favorite fairway is the Plasma Servo. just like pretty much everything, I ordered both 150s and 160s. So I got 166, 155, 166, 156. So these are my favorite fairway drivers. They're pretty much point and shoot in the higher weight. In the lower weight, they have a little bit more S turn to them. So I really like playing with the lines. They're super great. If you haven't tried it, try it. It's the most underrated driver, fairway or not, that MVP has, in my opinion. Is the Plasma Crave. This is a little bit more stable than the Servo, but not so much where it's not a resistor or anything that stable. I do have, again, 150s and 160s. I threw the Crave a couple years ago. I really liked it, and I never really threw it last year. I don't really know why. I don't remember why it got booted out of the bag. So I figured I'd give it another shot, order a few more. Maybe it's a little redundant with the servos. Maybe it's not. I really like them, so I ordered some. Let's see if they make it into the bag. And next is one of my favorite drivers from MVP is the Inertia. It is actually the first disc that I bought myself from MVP, and I actually purchased it at the International Disc Golf Center when I was there for U.S. Women's years ago. I don't even remember when that was. But it was a little too heavy for me, the one that I bought, because it was a max weight. And it took a while, took some getting used to and understanding that with the gyroscopic technology, you can really go lighter than you normally would, because you have to get the disc up to speed in order to see its true flight. So when you go a little bit lighter, when you have a slower arm like me, you're going to see a more accurate flight. And the Inertia is the prime example of that. In a 150s, I get more turn out of it, and once it starts beating in some, it'll completely flip over. In the 160s, it's more neutral. Once it starts beating in, it'll turn a little bit, it will come back. So I really like having this. It's also a slower speed driver, so it fits nice in my small hand. It's just a preference thing. I like throwing slower speeds. You don't have to try so hard. And that's always good, because then you're more smooth if you're not trying so hard. Next up are Neutron Vanishes. It's a go-to disc. Definitely has been a go-to disc since it came out in my bag. And I got 172, 166, 174, 167. So there's a couple higher weight range for this understable driver, which I'm really looking forward to playing around with. I really only play around with the 160s. This one is so beautiful. It's this pink swirly with a green rim. This one will probably be in my bag. This is a 166, so it's like my ideal weight. I love this mold so much. It's so pretty with, oh, look at this blue on blue. It's just so pretty. Next up are a couple plasma waves. I have loved the waves since it came out. I got my very first wave at the very first Gyropalooza, and it's essentially been in my bag ever since. It's very, very similar to the Vanish, so it's really just a preference thing. It depends on which one's maybe more beat in, which one's how it's flying for you that day, how your form is that, you know, how all the little things can affect even in your head. Even if it's not true, if it's in your head, it's still in your head. So if in my head the Vanish isn't working, then I'll pull out the wave. In my head, if I feel like the wave isn't working, I'll pull out the Vanish. Just kind of trying to trick yourself into thinking that it's not you, it's the disc, even though it's just you. That way you don't beat yourself up. Anyway, just little mind tricks I play on myself. So yeah, plasma waves. A little bit more stable is the Wrath. I have both Neutron Wraths and Proton Wraths. The Protons are both 160s. These are going to be a more stable headwind driver. They really fight the wind pretty well for me. If it's some crazy wind, no, of course not. It's going to turn and dive. But I don't have a lot of wind in my area, so there's a lot of woods golf. So I don't usually have that problem, and the Wrath is usually just strong enough to hold the wind. Is a really great stable driver for me. The Neutrons, I have both in 150s, and even in a 150s, it does fight the turn pretty well for me. Am I rambling too much? I'm rambling. I ramble a lot. That's what I do. So, into a higher speed driver, one of my goals this year is really to work more off the field and off the course and in the gym to gain more strength, stability, and flexibility in order to be able to throw higher speed drivers. And so I got a couple plasma octanes and a couple plasma catalysts in order to play with these and see if I can reach that goal of mine. These aren't super high, they're not the fastest speed drivers that MVP has, but it is faster than my typical speed range. And I love plasma plastic. This black with a gold stamp is beautiful. It's a beautiful catalyst. I have thrown the catalyst. I had one in my bag for a while, and it was more beaten, and it was a great disc, except if I was off even a little, it would just dump, because it's so much of a high-speed driver that if I'm off a little bit, it's just gonna dump. It's not gonna have any point to use it. So that's generally why I like to stick with the lower speed drivers, because they have more give in the little intricate changes in your form, or if you're tired, or if you're off a little bit. If you're off a little bit on a higher speed driver, you're not going to get anything out of it. It's just going to die. But if you're off a little bit on a lower speed driver, you will still get a decent flight out of it. I'm trying to fix that this year. So this is for that goal, the octane and the catalyst. And now for the finale, the big finale, is what everybody's been waiting for to be available and in stock, is the Fission Photon. The Fission Photon is by far my favorite driver. It has very nice lines. You can hyzer flip them straight, you can throw them straight and have a nice S line. They seem to go forever. They're super easy to throw. They're a nice size for my hand. They're the same speed class as the Wave. So, I mean, this is the stable version of the Wave, and the Fission plastic is just, it's so amazing. It's such a great technology that you are able to have more weight in the rim than in the flight plate. It's amazing how big of a difference throwing even a 163 Fission Photon versus a 163 neutron photon. The neutron photons are stable. I can't get any turn out of them. But the Fission Photon, oh baby, you get a good turn out of them. Not a flip over, but a good turn, nice S line. These are all 163, and this is 160. I have a lot of Fission Photons. I've got a lot in the 150s. I've got a lot of the old ones where they're flat. I got a lot of the older generations where they're more poppy. These are brand new generations, so I'm interested to see how they compare. They don't quite look so poppy as they once were. They are a little. They're definitely still not as flat as the first runs. So if you're looking for that in this new release, you're not going to find it. But I'm really curious to see how these throw. It's so good. It's such a good color. Not easy to find, but it's such a pretty color. Anyway, if you see me out on the course or at a tournament this year, please come say hi. If you've got any questions about MVP, Axiom, or Streamline discs, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk disc golf all day long. And be sure to subscribe and like and all the things you're supposed to do and say on social media. And keep an eye out for more. So thanks. And thanks for watching. Oh. Don't be shy, say hi. Oh, why am I so awkward? See you out there.